I did it again. It's messing me up because there's that sound bar, and I keep turning down the I guess the sound for the sound effects, not the music. So my apologies. Nonetheless, welcome back to the Breaker Bros and our instant reaction to the 17-16 victory over the Browns. And I guess what was your initial thoughts?
1-0, first place.
Yeah. Well, for me, I guess like going in, I thought it would be kind of like an ugly game. I didn't think it would be like this ugly.
This ugly?
But you know,
but for however ugly it was, the defense played that good. So
that to me was the highlight of the game
there's
because
an
it was
equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, well, the first half was kind of sluggish, but the second half was a totally different story because I think that's when they got their 2 turnovers. I think they only may have given up a field goal the second half, but they really
Yeah, and that was just good defense, not giving up those field goals.
well, I mean, part of it's luck, you know. But I thought it was interesting. But no, the way it started out, I mean,
the Bengals are destined to be in first place.
Well, they got the ball first, and
wire to wire, baby.
Well, I hope, but they got the ball first. They had like their 12-play drive, and it looked good. It seemed like everyone was involved. It seemed like they were calling the right plays, and then everything started out well. And then I think their second drive, they kind of didn't really do anything. But I think really the problem in the first half was the Browns had like really long drives. I think they did have one quick 3 and out, but outside of that, they had like 8 or like 9-minute drives. I think they may have had like 3 of them because there's like 2 in the first half, and then they started the second half with that long ass drive.
Yeah, I mean, can you blame the defense for all of the flags in the first half? Because some of the things they called on the Bengals, they didn't call anymore. So it was just like the refs decided they needed to get involved a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I guess the flags on Burks and Turner, I thought those were kind of cheap, but then I thought they were kind of shooting themselves in the foot with some of the other flags that were probably warranted.
Well, the Trey Hendrickson flag, okay, fine, but then call it when Burrow gets face masked.
That's where I'm confused. It's like that should be challengeable, right? Because like that should be very conclusive. You should be able to like challenge that if they miss that call, right? Like I feel like that should be.
I do not know the rules on that.
But even if it's not challengeable, I feel like it's one of those things where if you're calling it in the game, you should be able to, as a ref, rely on replay to be able to correct it, right? Just to keep it fair, because I know Hendrickson may have thought that was ticky.
Wait, you think they're trying to keep it fair?
Well, not necessarily, but
I mean, okay, so from my perspective, I feel like they were afraid that the Bengals would blow out the Browns, so they wanted to keep it close. So that's why they called all those flags. And
because some of them felt ticky-tacky, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, well, it's just like the NCAA tournament, how like when a team starts pulling away, the refs kind of start calling close calls to keep it close because they want the games to be artificially close to retain viewership.
Yeah, it was really just a tale of 2 halves because I felt like offensively the first half looked a lot better. Really, it was just a matter of the defense couldn't really get off the field, and the Browns'
offense was pretty bad in the fourth quarter.
No, I'm just saying in the first half, the offense looked good or decent.
Yeah, well, it's like they run the ball like a kid eats their vegetables. You know, they're like, "You happy we ran the ball? Okay, now we're just not going to do it ever again this game. We're just going to start throwing it every play."
Yeah, I think again, this is the criticism I have with Zach Taylor is that sometimes he gets too cute with things that should be kind of simple. Because there was 2 times where they did kind of like a delayed draw or something in the second half, and I'm just thinking, just run it. Like I want you to run it. Just hand it off. Don't do that or like fake. Like because, and why didn't at some point did they just not do a screen? Because it just felt like the Browns they you could tell, especially in the second half, because they really started to pick up the pressure in the second half. Is that they like know our cadence. It's like That's why we were able to get them to jump off sides at the end of the game, is because like we weren't really changing anything up, and they were just like timing everything to a T.
Right.
And it's just like, why weren't we doing a draw? Like, or not a draw. I'm sorry, a screen, because it's like whenever you get a defense that's like over eager, like you drop a screen on them, especially if you have like Chase or Brown. Like,
what I don't understand is when we play teams, they dump it off into the flat to running backs, and it always seems to get like 5 or 6 yards. And then the Bengals never do that. And when they do it, it doesn't work. Like, I don't understand why we're not able to just have those little 4 or 5 yarders to sustain drives, you know? Like, if you're going to throw it, why can't we just dump it off to someone and get a few yards? It just seems like.
And I will say this, there were, especially in the second half, I think it was towards the end, or I guess it's like mid fourth quarter, like we had plays where Chase dropped it and then Higgins dropped it. But I think part of it was the offense really could never get into a rhythm.
Yeah. Well,
just
that's
how
what I'm talking
the game
about.
was.
Like you get in the rhythm by, you know, hitting a few singles here and there. But it seems like the Bengals always want to hit doubles and triples.
Yeah, I felt like with this game in particularly, it seemed like the script plays, they did really well, like the ones that they practiced a lot. But then as soon as they got off script, because even in the first half, Burrow had to call a timeout. There's 3 times in the game where we had to waste a timeout. For whatever reason, we didn't get the play call in time, or maybe the headset went out or something. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get clarification. But that's like, to me, that's inexcusable. That has to be more on Zach Taylor, I would imagine, right? Because the only way there,
I don't know. It seemed pretty loud there, so maybe you just.
Well, even if it's loud, like you have hand signals, right? Like you have to have like a backup signal or a backup plan if something were to go down. But
yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Burrow doesn't just call a play, you know.
And they may get to the point where that could just be a thing, and maybe it was good that they kind of got to experience it early in the season. But yeah, I think to me, really for this game, the silver lining was the defense. The defense clamped up in the second half, and they got those 2 turnovers, and I think they got 2 sacks. I think Hendrickson got 1, and then PJ Hill. I thought maybe the pressure could have been a little bit better. Like, hopefully we could see improvement throughout the season. But
yeah, I mean, the tackling wasn't great in the middle of the field,
especially in the second half.
Yeah, but they played good. I mean, I'd say co-MVPs are like the defense, and then the wind in Cleveland for pushing the football to the right. That was pretty clutch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know. It's you feel bad for Cleveland fans because it always seems like it's something. I mean, they should have won that game.
But to me, that felt like
Bengals are a team of destiny.
Yeah,
the
this
wind
year
is going to be at their back and to the side of their opponents. I mean, the Bengals lost games like that last year.
Yeah,
where they were like the team that should have won, and then they didn't kick an extra point.
Well, we were the ones missing the field goals.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly the same thing on some of the losses, right? Missed field goals, missed extra points. So these are the kinds of games that you win when you're a first place team that's a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, I mean,
you gotta win your duds.
We're ahead of schedule. I mean, if we
1-0, man.
You know, if we put this year over last year, we're ahead of schedule, right? Everyone was saying we won.
Hey,
we
won week 1. We won on the road. We won in the division.
Right?
First place, man.
But I did see the Steelers. They had a crazy game with the Jets. I was kind of watching that on the side. They pulled off a late win in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but we still have the tiebreaker on them because we have a better division record.
True. For now, yeah.
So Bengals undisputed first place.
Well, I guess that's true, right? I guess it doesn't
Yeah,
matter if
because the
Baltimore wins
Baltimore
tonight.
can't win. They don't play a division game.
I do want to mention something real quick. I don't know if maybe I can post some video, or I'll try to record something. But I'm going to the Cosm tonight. It's
The what?
well, it's kind of like a mini dome. It's not like big as the one in Las Vegas, but it's like a dome where you can
Oh,
watch
okay.
live games. They have one
Yeah.
here in Dallas and I think Los Angeles. But I'm going to watch the Bills and Ravens game there. I felt like that would be like a good game to watch. I don't know
Oh,
if I could be
okay.
there watching a Bengals game. I feel like I have like too many jitters to be around like people like that.
Yeah. So how's that work?
Well, it's just like a dome. Well,
No,
there's
I
two
mean like
different.
how like for you to go. Like I understand like it's like a big dome with a screen, but like do you have to buy a ticket? Do you have like seats?
Yeah, there's
Assigned
seats.
seats?
So it looks like the standard tickets, like you have to buy. It's, I guess I would consider them tables, or maybe they're just like section seatings. But most areas, you either have to get 2, 3, or 4 seats.
Uh-huh.
You got to get them at once, and then around the perimeter, you can do like the single seats, and that's basically what I'm doing. Was I just got like because like the ones that are like directly in the middle and on the second level, those are I guess the better seats. But they pretty much make you buy multiple tickets if you get the mid section. So I was like, you know what? Doesn't matter. I'll just sit on like the edge and see what it's like. Cause I've seen videos of it and it kind of makes you feel like you're actually at the game. So,
Oh, okay. That'd be interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see what that looks like. So how much does it cost?
The ticket I got was only like, well, it's $50. So, I mean, it's
Okay.
not, I don't think it's
That's a decent
unreasonable.
amount to pay.
Yeah. But the thing is the better seats, it can range from, and again, you have to buy multiple. So the average ticket price is going to be like 150 to like 300 per seat.
That's as much as going to the game. How's parking?
I
You have
would
to
say
do a
it's,
full review. This sounds cool.
well, the parking would be a little bit more convenient than going to a game. I mean,
Well, that's what I mean. I'm just curious, like how that compares to going to a game.
well, the thing is where it's at. It is kind of like a like an entertainment area because they have like a Ferris wheel. They have Andretti's, like it's supposed to be one of the biggest indoor racetracks. So it's got
Okay.
like that type of thrill stuff there. Plus, it's got the Cosm. But on Sunday night, most of that stuff is gonna be closed. So I would imagine it should be fairly easy to get in and out as far as the parking.
Okay. And they have food?
Yeah, yeah. It's just like a bar, but it's just there's 2 sections. So you can get the main section, which is like the dome, and then they have like a hall section, which is like your be like your standard bar where you have like the big screen TVs and stuff, but it's just not the dome feature.
Yeah. Do they do college football too?
Oh, they do everything. They do a lot of sporting events, so like college soccer or college football, soccer, like the Premier League. They do. They're starting to do the NFL games. I think they're playing the Matrix, the movie. So that might be decent to see. I don't know.
Yeah. And you said it's in Dallas?
Yeah, there's one in Dallas and there was one in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's going to be more popping up, like probably like New York and Miami, like some of the bigger cities and stuff. But Chicago, I don't know. I could see there being one in Cincinnati. I mean, it's kind of a cool idea. Because like for people like me, right? Because I was really thinking about going to the one because I got this ad for it, and they were going to show the Thanksgiving game there, the Bengals versus Baltimore, and that's what got me thinking about it. I was like, oh, that might actually be kind of cool to watch, especially because it'll make you feel like you're there, but you're not. So I feel like if you're like an out of towner and you know you want to feel like you can't make it back to your home team's, stadium, you can go to one of those things and it makes you feel like you're there. But yeah, I'll try to take some videos, and because I from what I can tell, it's going to be a pretty cool experience. It's COSM if you're trying to look it up. But
Okay.
But I did want to mention a few things as far as the Bengals game that I thought was interesting. Well, one was kind of obvious is that when Lucas Patrick went down, they brought Dalton Reisner back in. Or into play, which I think most Bengals fans kind of wanted to see that happen anyways. But I mean, unfortunately, it happened during the injury. And then,
I thought Lucas Patrick was playing pretty good, and that might be maybe why they couldn't run the ball as much. He looked like he was
well,
doing
that's
the
the
work.
thing. He is actually a better run blocker than
Hmm.
Dalton Reisner, but Reisner is a better pass blocker. So it's like
Yeah,
kind of which for the Bengals. I think throughout most of the game, they were kind of balanced with the play calling. It was like 50-50 with runs and pass. So I thought that was kind
yeah,
of interesting where, historically for the Bengals, they're passing like 65% of the time, something
yeah.
crazy, or even like 70% of the time. So I think there was an emphasis to maybe rely on the run game a little bit, but yeah, in that second half, it just felt like the Browns defense I mean, and I always thought they had a good defense. I always thought it was going to be a pretty tough challenge. But when Logan Wilson went down in the second, I think it was in the second half or maybe at the end of the first
It was
half.
his first half, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they brought Barrett Carter in to replace him. So
Yeah,
they had the
that was
two
weird to
rookies.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that did not look good.
no, because I think Carter did give up a few plays that I feel like maybe if you had a veteran in like Burks, because I just
Yeah,
assumed when Logan Wilson went down that Burks would come in. But maybe
that's what
that's
I
just
was
now
thinking.
a golden thing, and I think he trusts his guys. I mean, in this game it worked out because maybe those mistakes would have cost him in had the Browns made the field goal, we would feel a lot differently about the situation. But
Hmm.
that was one of the things that I feel like in general, a lot of Bengals fans were pounding on the tables like we draft these guys, right?
Hmm.
They never get to see the field. I know Barrett Carter, he's a later round draft pick, but they felt like that was a steal. Like I'm sure they had like a third round grade on him, and I think they got him in the fourth, right?
Yeah,
But they've always been pretty high on him, and I've seen his highlights, and it feels like he has playmaking ability. And in terms of speed, I would imagine he's probably one of our faster linebackers, if I had to guess. But no, I thought it was interesting they went with a rookie, so I think there is
yeah.
like,
No,
emphasis.
I just feel like the defense looks better when Oren Burke's out there.
Yeah, he's very steady. Like you
Yeah,
know what you're going to get out of him. Where
right.
I
And when
think
you're playing against a team that's dumping it off in the middle of the field and getting 9 yards every time, you'd rather have someone in there that could just make the tackle and limit it.
I did see before the game that I guess we were playing 8 rookies. I think it was
Mm.
8 rookies that were on the active roster today that we're going to see the field for the first time.
Yeah, did you see that they like immediately started that guy from, or not started, but that guy from Kansas City they picked up on the defensive line? He played.
Oh yeah. I think that because they McKinley Jackson I think everyone kind of knew Cross would probably be inactive, but I guess it was kind of a shock that McKinley Jackson was inactive. But I mean, well, and that was another thing I saw at the end of the game. The Bengals only gave up like 50 rushing yards.
Yeah,
And
no,
if
and they had
maybe
a.
that's
I
the real
mean,
silver lining. Like,
I don't think it counts as a goal line stand if you give up a touchdown, but like they stopped 3 runs in a row on the goal line. That's something that you haven't seen them do in a long time.
and I feel like they're in a position where they're just kind of like last year. They're going to slowly get a little bit better as some of these younger players get a little bit more playing time. Because early on, I feel like Shamar Stewart, he had some impact plays. He had that one where he did get a deflection, but they called. I think that was another one of those ticky tack plays. I think it was the one on Burks. They said like he was a holding or something,
Hmm.
and it really didn't look that much. But no, I think Shamar Stewart had a couple tip passes, a few pressures. But I think overall, like they still need to be a little bit more consistent when it comes to the pass rush and have it more throughout the game and not really towards the. I feel like in the second half, it was like they were definitely getting home a lot more.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I pretty much covered all the stuff I want to hit on. Was there anything that you wanted to talk about in terms of
we could do like a Trey Hendrickson, a premature goodbye to everybody.
yeah, I thought,
He thought it was a runoff, but it was like because the clock was stopped on the play prior.
I got
there was
really
no
nervous
runoff.
about that because like those are the type of moments where it's like, oh, he I guess he obviously he assumed there's going to be a runoff, but then something crazy happens where they'll hit like a 99-yard touchdown, and like, oh man,
Yeah,
they were playing back
against any team other than the Browns, I would be concerned. But since it's the Browns, like I kind of was like, yeah, this is like the things that you're always afraid of happening to your team just happen to the Browns.
But as far as like the way the Browns looked, it's kind of basically how I assumed. I thought their defense was going to be above average. I think they probably have
their
top 10.
defense played way better than I expected.
I think they have at least a top 10 defense for sure. Like
I don't expect them to play that good against everybody the rest of the season.
But it's just their
There's
offense.
just no way.
Their offense.
I mean, Burrow only threw for like 100 yards. It's like insane.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there were definitely a few missed opportunities. And then really it was just, especially in the first half, there were just no, like they started off hot. They scored 2 touchdowns in their first 3 drives, but then it was just between every drive, they had to wait like in real time. It was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it just drives me nuts that like they allow like there was one play with Gesicki where he was going to cut across the middle of the field and like the corner was holding him. And then
yeah.
And it's just like,
well, think about it, because like
Browns got a touchdown on crap like that at the beginning of the game. It's just I hate the inconsistency, but I mean, I don't know. Overall, this is like one of my pet peeves with the NFL in general is that they just have an officiating problem where like their rules don't make sense and they're not really enforceable, so they're selectively enforced when they really should just simplify it and make it so things can be applied more consistently. If you're going to let people grab, then you should just let people grab and it shouldn't be a penalty, right?
Yeah.
Or like on the first interception, right? They said he was down by contact. That was like the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Well, it wasn't the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, but it was quite annoying.
You didn't think he was down by contact?
No, because he by definition couldn't have caught the ball
because he didn't
touch the ground.
He didn't,
right? Because he was in the air.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Like if he would have hit the ground and the ball would have fallen out, it wouldn't have been a catch.
Right.
So he has to catch it before you can tackle him.
Right. Yeah. No, I think you're right technically, because like they get those moments confused where the person who intercepts it or gets the ball or whatever is like on the ground and they're kind of like sliding still, but they have possession and then they happen to touch their foot or whatever. Then they're down by contact. But to your point, I see what you're saying, because they kind of like bumped into each other at the same time that he was grabbing the ball, but he didn't complete the catch until he like kind of tumbled over, right?
Right.
So
you have to have a foot or an elbow or a hand or something.
Well, his tumble
with possession,
whatever is like his football move, right?
Yeah. That's him establishing possession.
At that point, you got to get him down,
right? Which he was already 4 yards away from the guy that could have touched him and got up and ran. But I mean, that could have cost the Bengals the game, right? Because that was like 20 yards. They did not score on that possession, right? That would have put them within
20 yards.
range.
I think it was only like a 6-yard difference. I don't think it was.
I think it was like I felt like it was like within field goal range and without field goal range.
No, because it was a difference between like the 31-yard line and like the 26. They were already in field goal range.
Did they kick a field goal?
Yeah, I think they did actually.
Okay, well then never mind.
But I mean, speaking of Battle, I thought he had a solid game, because even early on, even though they did score on that goal line, I guess series or whatever, I did see where he came in. It was like the 3rd down or maybe the 2nd down, and he like took on a blocker, and I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then obviously he had that interception.
He needs to like try to tackle a little bit lower. He keeps trying to tackle guys up at the shoulder pads. I don't think that's going to work in the division.
Well, I think he'll get better as time goes on, because I think he's still relatively inexperienced, because Like he didn't really start to get much playing time until towards the end of last year, and he really didn't get that much playing time as a rookie. So like, I think that's just something he's gonna have to learn, because I think when he was in college, obviously he could get away with some of the things that he's doing, but now in the NFL, everyone's bigger and faster, so it's like you have to be a lot more.
Well, yeah, and he's not like on an all-star team like at Alabama, right?
Right.
And some of the Alabama teams that they played on, like just slowing the guy down, there's going to be like a linebacker and another corner or something to help you finish it off. But he's got to be able to make some of those tackles on his own without giving up another 4 or 5 yards because he's up high. But
well, I guess another thing I noticed was that Noah Fant seemed to get a lot of playing time, and I think especially on that TD catch that he had, because that was the benefit of him picking him up, was that you can disguise a lot of things with him on the field. He's probably.
No, I liked how they started off the game with like big tight ends in and like.
Well, they put Cody Ford as fullback at that
that particular player, but like at the beginning of the game, they started off with like both Fant and that one guy.
TJ, who's your mama?
Drew Sample. Yeah. So they had him and Drew Sample in, and I mean that helped them run the ball, disguise things. I mean, it would be nice if they had two guys like Fant that could like block and catch, and then I feel like you could really open up a lot of stuff with those two tight end looks. But I'm sure that they have a plan for that. Like that's the thing about Zach Taylor, is they kind of build on stuff throughout the season.
Well,
so they show things so they can like trick people later on.
Well, it's matchup too. It's like, when you're playing against like the Steelers, or pretty much all our divisional rivals, right? The Steelers, Ravens, and Pittsburgh, like their front seven is always going to be intense. So I feel like where you can kind of trick them, where you have that versatile tight end, you can actually disguise things, can really make a big difference. But hopefully they'll implement the screens going forward, because I feel like we're going to see a lot of the same things with the Steelers and Ravens as far as like how they're able to penetrate. But yeah, that was like, speaking of the Steelers, that was my biggest concern for Rodgers, is that I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold up in this type of division throughout the whole year. I mean, time will tell. But yeah, they're going to have to address that, and hopefully they'll have, I guess, better counters going forward. But yeah, I mean, an ugly win, but nonetheless, it's a win.
First place
in the division, regardless.
That's right.
You got to keep that up, wire to wire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, was there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think I've said it all.
Nice. All right. Peace.